I think it's fair that we address this story about Luigi Mangione because right now the defense for Luigi Mangione has accused the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for knowingly and inappropriately violating his rights by reviewing his private medical records. Prosecutors are currently right now denying this, but let's go ahead and bring this up here because this is improper. This isn't right, and it says a lot about the prosecution. Defense.
Ratcheting up his accusations that prosecutors at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office knowingly and inappropriately violated his rights by viewing his private medical records. Defense attorney said prosecutors were able to see medical diagnoses and statements made by Mr. Mangione to healthcare providers in violation of his HIPAA rights.
HIPAA is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which essentially says that your health information is protected and should only be given to certain individuals when it is required by law.
Prosecutors have denied any violation. They said they subpoenaed entirely unremarkable information from Mangione's insurance provider, Aetna, like his account number and dates of coverage. Prosecutors blamed Aetna for turning over more information than requested. When prosecutors realized it, they said they notified the court and deleted the material. Aetna, however, said it responded to the subpoena appropriately. Defense attorneys asked the judge to hold a hearing to determine an appropriate remedy commensurate with the gravity of the violation. They said that could be the removal of prosecutors, the suppression of evidence, or even the dismissal of charges.
Oh! Uh-oh. Prosecution stepped in and whoopsie. Now, again, there's a whole process that needs to be played out because now the prosecution has to say something. But as we all know, this is a very high-profile case. But, again, we live in a system of rules. Innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. And, the burden is on the prosecution right now to try and trial Luigi. And of course, I'll never forget, I think none of us will never forget, way back in December of 2024, how he was being dragged before the whole world. Everybody was witnessing him being handcuffed and how they were going to make an example out of him. But the thing is, there's one thing to be overly excited and do the knee-jerk reaction to try and get him. On the other hand here, too, the real problem for the prosecution is that by doing this and enacting maybe potentially the sloppy action, this could very well lead potentially to the case going through the removal of the prosecutors. Again, I don't see the dismissal of charges happening. If that happens, wow, talk about a miracle. Miracle of miracles. But also, it shows that the prosecution is also going to have to start from square one. Do I see charges being dismissed? No. But do I see this case being made more public? Because I was worried that people were going to forget about this. Luigi's still around.
Determine an appropriate remedy commensurate with the gravity of the violation. They said that could be the removal of prosecutors, the suppression of evidence, or even the dismissal of charges.
It's going to be up to the judge for him to make a determination on whether or not this was a careless, harmless error, or whether there was, in fact, prosecutorial misconduct, which would mean that they intentionally sought information they should not have.
Mangione has pleaded not guilty to the assassination-style killing of United Healthcare chief Brian Thompson last December on a Midtown Manhattan street. He has also pleaded not guilty to federal charges that could result in the death penalty. He's being held in federal custody and receiving so much mail. The latest update from his legal team showed he was still opening letters in July that he received in January. His online legal defense fund has raised more than $1.2 million.
Well done to Luigi. All right, wow. Hey, there's people standing in solidarity with him. Again, for those of you who don't know, Luigi Mangione was, again, innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. But, again, the accusation is that Luigi has been accused, and he has pled not guilty to charges that he murdered United Healthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson last December on a Midtown Manhattan street in 2024. It happened, I think, on December 4th, to be more precise. Since then, it led to a massive manhunt for the alleged shooter of United Healthcare Chief Executive Brian Thompson. Now, again, Luigi has said that he has pled not guilty, and in turn, he's required by law to face off against these charges and survive. So I wish him all the best in this war that he is against. However, I want everyone to understand that just because this happened does not mean the case will be dismissed. That's not how things work. And if it does happen, it's a miracle of miracles. But let's remind ourselves about United Healthcare. All right. United Healthcare in 2024 dealt with massive protests and people calling it out. We've played videos and also read commentary about United Healthcare in regards to how it treats its people and also how it treats people who rely on it to pay their insurance bills. And it has a long, sad, and terrible history of, well, playing the game of red tape, political maze. Oh, we can't cover you. And of course, I have seen commentary from you, my viewing audience, about, the nightmare of dealing with healthcare in this country, dealing with health insurance. Many of you have shared very horrific and terrible stories about you yourselves or loved ones or friends taking care of loved ones, about the trials and tribulations of dealing with healthcare. And, one bad day, one bad news, one bad incident, and what? You can't get sick? I just can't help but be reminded. Nobody wants to see their child die. Nobody wants to see their loved ones die because of a treatment that's out of reach because they can't afford it. Richest country in the world, and we can't take care of our people. See, this is bigger than Luigi. It says a lot about the overall mental mindset and physical mindset of our politicians who are owned by big pharma and the healthcare insurance industries. See, they want to brush aside this Luigi story. They want to make an example out of him quickly, but in their rush, they very well could have opened up a potential for Luigi, however unlikely, to maybe walk out of this. Maybe. I'm not going to say that the charges are going to be dismissed. I don't think that's going to happen, but the prosecutors could face something. And I'm going to say the same thing that I said about the prosecutors who are going after Donald Trump. You better hope you're squeaky clean, and however which way you're doing this, you better hope you got all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. Because if you don't, it'll slip from your fingers. Defense. Hey, folks. Can I get a defense in the chat? Can I get a defense in the chat? Defense. Come on, folks. Write in the comment section just to boost up the algorithm.
It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Whether or not in Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
I don't mean to sound alarmist, but most of what they let you read is garbage. Most of it's designed to warp our minds until subconsciously you find you'll take the time to lick their boots free of grime and wipe their minds free of tarnish. Oil is the centerpiece, a body count of millions is the garnish. So how's it feel to know we funded every carcass? That every year our taxes pay for carpet bombing Gaza under shroud of darkness? Or that we spend enough a year to house and feed each homeless person in the streets on turning families in apartment buildings in the Middle East to bloody craters full of charred garments? And our media is silent at best. At worst, they can find it in themselves to call war crimes clashes and label children burned to ashes terrorists who played a stupid game and reaped the harvest. And every time we try to paint the truth, the news sends their slugs to suck off all the varnish and distort it into something harmless. See, the media will hang you by your feet and keep you half asleep. So yes, I'm here to set you free, but freedom won't be sweet because you'll fall 1,000 feet when I come cut you out your harness. They say those who dream the deepest fall the farthest. They also say that home is where the heart is. But if home for you is Gaza, Netanyahu's got you painted as a target. Perhaps it's not the impact, but it's what you see when falling that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the sound of all those children crying out in those apartments that will hit the hardest. Maybe all those little bodies scattered in the dirt will hit the hardest. Maybe seeing human lives assigned such little worth will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that you're paying for the darkest of atrocities committed on this earth that will hit the hardest. Maybe it's the knowledge that we give 10 million a day to oppressors who possess the kind of Medicare you'll die in debt before you see that's gonna hit the hardest. Maybe then you'll see you've always had more in common with the commoners whose slaughter we fund every day in Gaza than our senators and bosses. Maybe then you'll see our country never had a conscience. Maybe then the retroactive guilt will make you nauseous. Maybe what hits harder than the impact is the act of being conscious, of knowing your complicity and helplessness to try and stop the bloody deeds of Congress. And that no matter who's in office, America preserves its foreign interests by whatever means its greed demands, however monstrous. You see, we'll always need a place to drain our contras. And Biden's got a backup plan should harm befall the Holy Land. Wipe it off the map, he'll draw it back on with an iron hand. He demands an Israel or reasonable effigy to exercise democracy and colonize the Middle East. Regardless of the human cost of phosphorus atrocities, bought and paid with money they rerouted out the budget for the non-essential things like ever making Flint's water clean. So maybe what hits hardest is the day you see this country for its actual priorities. And never more no honest peace attempting sleep. Maybe then you'll look at politicians making speeches like a blood-encrusted beast espousing destiny to empty seats and fellow leeches. As the gauntlet of democracy extends its brutal reach, like a giant wave of trash come to crash on foreign beaches. Maybe build a base, throw a flag down and heavily pollute the region. Rape your ecosystems, gut your fauna and congratulate you on your new allegiance. Oops, we mean alliance. This is something mutual unless you're non-compliant. We stole something crucial on which you can be reliant. So maybe what hits hardest is the centrist saying both sides need to stop the violence. And those would be the very same centrists saying we should all accept police brutality, who hem and haw and clutch their fucking pearls and spend their time condemning riots. But very soon will come the day the centrists all get censored like the rest of us, and pious as they'll try to be, they won't stay quiet. But they'll just end up shouting in the void that they were also quick to render us subscribers. And it will be too late to light the fires. So far away tonight, they burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Which is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. And call it foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600 higher. Far away tonight, they burn the spires of a region set ablaze for which you've paid for every pyre. Call it foreign interests or American desires. This is why your checks weren't all $600